The top stories tonight in Y News. President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. arrives in Manila after the 10th ASEAN-EU Business Summit in Brussels, Belgium.
President Marcos Jr. certifies the necessity of the immediate enactment of House Bill number 6608, creating the Maharlika Investment Fund.
Department of Justice Secretary Crispin Boying Rimulya discloses getting testimonies from individuals who may have information behind the deaths of high-profile inmates in the New Bilibid prison.
And the United States plans to provide top-of-the-line air defense missiles to Ukraine to support them amid war against Russia.
Good evening, Philippines and the world. Today is Thursday, December 15, 2022. Join us in the next hour as we deliver today's top stories around the Philippines and in other parts of the world. I am William Theo.
We are also seen in 1,935 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through the UNTV News and Rescue social media channels. I am Hardy Delgado.
First in the news, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. arrived in Manila tonight after attending the three-day ASEAN-European Summit in Brussels, Belgium. Nel Maribuhok will give us the details live. Nel, good evening.
Good evening, Will. Around 7 in the evening, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. together with the official delegation arrived here in Villamor Air Base in Pasay City. The President reported of his accomplishments in his participation in ASEAN-EU Summit in Brussels. According to President Marcos Jr., they had fruitful discussions with ASEAN and EU member states leaders where they exchanged views on what is in store for ASEAN-EU cooperation, particularly on areas of mutual concern such as connectivity, trade, digital transition, food security, climate change, and geopolitics. PBBM also welcomed the adoption of the joint leader statement at the ASEAN-EU commemorative summit after what he called a product of intensive discussions between ASEAN and EU member states. He also reported the pledge of investments of European businessmen to the Philippines.
I'm also pleased to announce that European business confidence in the Philippines is high, as evidenced by the expansion plans of European companies that we met in the sectors of fast-moving consumer goods, in shipbuilding, renewable energy, and green metals. An estimated investment pledge of around 9.8 billion pesos has been received.
According to the President, he is looking forward to share more good news in the next few months that reaffirms the optimism which how international investors view the Philippines today, the Chief Executive added. That is our update. Back to you, Will.
Yes, thank you, Nel Maribuhok, reporting live from Villamor Air Base, Pasay City.
The Commission on Elections, or COMELEC, 2nd Division, has disqualified Cagayan Province Governor Manuel Mamba. Meanwhile, Mamba will allegedly appeal his case. Dante Amento tells us why.
In a resolution released by the Commission on Elections, or COMELEC 2nd Division today, they disqualified Cagayan Province Governor Manuel Mamba for the alleged violation of the disbursement ban last 2022 national and local elections. Maria Zara Rose de Guzman Lara, also a candidate for governor in the province, filed the disqualification case for the alleged massive vote buying which Mamba was involved. But the COMELEC division ruled the evidence for vote buying was not sufficient, but Mamba clearly violated the Omnibus Election Code for releasing fund during the election period without exemptions. But COMELEC spokesperson Director Jan Rexlau Janco clarified that Mamba can still file a motion for reconsideration before the COMELEC and Bank over the decision within 5 days upon receipt of the resolution. Mamba also disclosed that he will file an appeal to reverse the COMELEC decision.
Pinag-aaralan ng mga lawyers ko ngayon yan. No? Pinag-aaralan nila yung next move namin. No? Na-receive namin yung resolution kanina, so we still have 5 to Tuesday. No? So anong next na gagawin po namin. And sana po, no, wag namang ganito. No? You are caught by surprise.
Their camp also allegedly applied for the exemptions, but the notice was late that they were not granted.
Sa totoo lang po, no, nalaman namin yung mga what was exempted May na, after election. Yun doon namin nalaman. Kasi individual yung kwan eh. Every candidate, no, nag-a-apply, no, ng kanilang exemption.
The petitioner Lara, on the other hand, said they commend the COMELEC for upholding the rule of law by resolving their petition to disqualify Mamba. Dante Amento, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
Meanwhile, a lawmaker believes President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. should raise the continued maritime incursion of China in the West Philippine Sea during his state visit in Beijing next month. This as the Senate expressed its disgust over an alleged seizure incident near Pag-asa Island last month. Harleen Delgado will tell us why.
Emotions were running high in the Senate plenary during its last session day yesterday. This as Senator Francis Tolentino took the floor to deliver his privileged speech condemning the incident near Pag-asa Island last month. Tolentino played a video in which it can be seen some members of the Chinese Coast Guard taking away from the Philippine Navy a floating object suspected to be a rocket debris.
Wow! What are you doing? I asked for not earlier. You didn't give the not.
So this is an actual footage, Mr. President, of that incident last month.
The Chinese embassy released a statement in November denying that such tension transpired, claiming that there was a friendly consultation between the two parties. Several senators expressed their anger over the incident.
Ano pa po ang kailangan natin gawin para tigilan ng ating kaibigan na malaking bansa sa Asia ang kanilang pang-aabuso at hindi pagsunod sa isang maliwanag na ruling na dapat nilang respetuhin. Bawal ang bully sa mundo.
Ayaw natin maging war freak tayo, pero gusto lang natin talaga ipakita sa kanila, iparamdam sa ating mga kababayan na tayo punong-puno na sa pambubuli na ginagawa nitong mga Chinese na ito. So, kung nakikinig kayo ngayon, mga Chinese, galit na kami. To tell you frankly, we are mad with what you are doing to our troops.
For Senate Minority Leader Aquilino Coco Pimentel, the maritime incidents in the West Philippine Sea should be raised by President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. during his state visit in Beijing in January next year. Pimentel says the sentiment of the Senate should be sent to the Office of the President and the Department of Foreign Affairs or DFA, as the actual concrete steps on the West Philippine Sea issue should be taken by the executive branch. The DFA has yet to comment on the Senate's resolution expressing its disgust over the incident. The Philippine government sent a note verbal to China last month asking to clarify the incident. Earlier, the Department of National Defense also expressed concern on the reported swarming of Chinese vessels in Iroquois Reef and Sabina Shoal in the West Philippine Sea. The DFA says it is still awaiting official reports on the matter. Harleen Delgado, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God. The Department of Agriculture, or DA, issued a warrant of seizure and detention for the 3 container vans inspected last December 13 in Manila International Container Port. It was revealed that the cargo actually contained banned poultry meat and meat products from China that were 13.5 million pesos. DA said that there are containers that still need to be inspected under the same consignee. The DA recently created the Office of the Assistant Secretary for DA Inspectorate and Enforcement. This is to fight smuggling and price manipulation of agricultural products in the country. It is now being headed by Assistant Secretary James Layug, who was a former military.
Department of Justice Secretary Crispin Remulla disclosed they are still getting testimonies from individuals who may have information behind the deaths of high-profile inmates in the New Bilibid Prison or NBP. Issues surfaced that inmates such as J.B. Sebastian, Eugene Chua, among others, were killed instead of dying from COVID-19. Remulla said this is a speculation pending formal investigation. The Justice Department is still collecting information or testimonies over this issue.
We cannot comment or we cannot speculate ourselves. We just have to look for the truth behind every issue. We cannot allow speculation to rule our lives. Kaya ito, we're eliciting testimonies from people who may help us uncover the truth.
Meanwhile, in an interview, Bureau of Corrections Officer in Charge Director General Pio Katapang Jr. disclosed that they are also investigating the cause of the high-profile inmate's demise.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. certifies the necessity of the immediate enactment of House Bill number 6608, creating the Maharlika Investment Fund. Asher Kadapan Jr. will tell us why.
Following the approval of the MIF, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. also certifies the bill as urgent, which will allow the passage of the bill on the third reading on the same day as the session will be adjourned for the holidays. To further protect the retirement benefits of members, proponents also accepted the amendments proposed by ACT Teachers Party List Representative Franz Castro to insert a line providing that pension funds shall not be requested or required to contribute to the MIF.
Be requested or required to contribute to the MIF to protect the retirement and other social security benefits of their members. No part of the funds of the said DOCC shall accrue to the MIF. Delete the entire paragraph on the power of the MIC to compromise, condone, and release, and to settle claims and liabilities to it.
We will only accept the deletion of condone.
Aside from this, the proponent also accepts the proposed amendment on the distribution of the net profits of the MIC to 25% from 20% and shall be directly distributed in the form of subsidies to families below the poverty threshold. Meanwhile, Representative Joey Salceda, chair of MIF Act Technical Working Group, thanked the House for its favorable consideration of the enhanced version of the bill, especially the President for certifying the refined version of the bill as urgent, which he said recognizes the President's favorable view of the safeguards on the said bill. The approval of the bill creating the fund happened 2 weeks after it was filed on November 28 by the lawmakers led by Speaker Martin Romualdez. Asher Kadapan Jr., UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Four people were reported dead after major rescue operations underwent on Wednesday morning in attempt to rescue migrants in a capsizing boat in the English Channel. Paul Gatchalian details why live. Good evening, Paul.
Giona, early Wednesday morning, December 14, off the Kent coast in the English Channel, around 3:05 a.m. local time. Officials were alerted of the incident which resulted to the death of 4 migrants. Over 43 people were reportedly rescued in the major operation by the Royal Navy, French Navy, the Coast Guard, and the Royal National Lifeboat Institute, which rushed early minutes after the alert. Over 30 people were pulled from the waters with temperatures of -1 degrees Celsius. Investigations are still underway to gather information regarding the incident, according to a government spokesperson. Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has stated this and the House's deepest sorrow for the human life lost in the capsizing event, going on to express his thoughts to the family and friends of the victims. Over 44,000 people have crossed the English Channel this year. And just last year in November, another incident occurred which killed 27 people while 5 others were presumed dead, the CEO of the Refugee Council, Enver Solomon, said. Meanwhile, a day before the incident, Prime Minister Sunak revealed the government's plans to restrict the boats that cross through the channel. Back to you, Giona.
Thank you, Paul, for that live report. The government of the United Kingdom places stricter rules against the use of plastic in the country as it becomes the top 15 most littered item in the UK. Nida Sadanda will tell us why live. Good evening, Larissa.
Good evening, Giona. According to the government of UK, single-use plastics such as cutlery, plates, and other items are set to be banned. These items will be replaced by biodegradable items in order to reduce the current plastic waste problem. Although UK has already banned other single-use plastic items like straws, stirrers, and cotton buds, a spokesperson for the Department for Environment, Food and Rural Affairs stated that the government is determined to go further in order to resolve the issue. Plastic cutlery was among the 15 most littered items in the UK. These single-use plastics are a threat to the environment as they are accelerating climate change. Each year, England uses at least 1.1 billion single-use plastic plates and 4.25 single-use plastic cutlery, yet only 10% end up being recycled. UN Environment Program's report also shows that the amount of plastic that enters the aquatic ecosystem could nearly triple to 37 million tons per year by 2040. The department held a public consultation announcing new restrictions on plastic in England and will be addressed soon, as mentioned by the spokesperson. According to a report by the Financial Times, UK Environment Secretary Therese Cafe will announce firm plans in the coming week. Back to you, Giona.
Thank you, Nadessa, for that live report. We'll share more global stories with you later, but for now, back to you, Harleen.
Thank you, Giona. An employee of Land Transportation Office and two of his cohorts nabbed in an entrapment operation after report of a Chinese national who was asked 40,000 pesos to process his driver's license application. JP Nunez will tell us why.
The Land Transportation Office and the Criminal Investigation and Detection Group of Quezon City conducted an entrapment operation to nab 3 individuals who are allegedly involved in fixing activity. This after a Chinese national reported overpricing of his application for driver's license in the central office of the LTO. He was asked 40,000 pesos for his application.
I saw unhappy and I want to complain because they lied to me 20,000 get license, but today they asked me pay 40,000. It's so much amount.
Nagpapadagdag ng bayad, unang-una po ay 15,000 ang student permit, na kung titingnan po natin doon sa pagkuha po ng normal process sa LTO, masyado pong exorbitant po yung amount. Pangalawa po, nang nag-a-apply na po siya, nung nabigyan siya ng student permit noong November 24, hiningian na po siya ngayon ng 25,000 para na po doon sa non-professional driver's license. Dito na po nag-umpisa na nagreklamo na po itong Chinese national.
The suspects were named Alan Madrid, 59 years old, a regular employee of LTO, and his cohorts, Renato Ocampo Jr., 28 years old, and a woman named Desi Tomazar, 26 years old, girlfriend of the complainant.
Confirm po, taga-LTO po ito, regular employee, at naka-assign po ito sa Operations Division po, sa licensing po sa mga foreign.
So kaninang umaga po ay inumpisa na namin yung aming entrapment operation. Actually doon muna sa main office sa LTO. Siguro nag-iingat din itong subject natin at yung mga cohorts niya. So ang ginawa ay hindi kinasa doon sa loob ng LTO. Sapagkat sila nag-usap-usap at lumabas sila sa LTO para doon ay kasa yung kanilang transaction sa labas po. At hindi naman tayo tumigil at sinundan natin sila.
The suspects are now detained at the CIDG facility of Camp Karingal for further investigation.
Sa ating empleyado ng LTO, so naharap siya sa violation of Republic Act 1132, the Ease of Doing Business and Efficient Government Service Delivery Act, at saka yung anti-graft and corrupt practices po ng isang public official, at saka yung ethical standards po na under Article 210, which is the direct bribery, at swindling or estafa po dun sa dalawang kasamahan niya po na suspects na naaresto.
LTO warns its employees and other individuals who are involved in fixing activity that the agency will intensify its campaign against corruption and continuous entrapment operation will be conducted. JP Nunez, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Meanwhile, the Manila International Airport Authority, or MIA, announced on Thursday, December 15, that they started tapping an additional 200 Grab car rental fleet dedicated to servicing passengers at the Ninoy Aquino International Airport, or NAIA. The additional Grab units are dedicated to pick up passengers from NAIA, and it would return to the airport for another pickup after dropping the passengers off. MIA has ensured that the said Grab dedicated transport units will not implement surge charges and will only charge fixed prices depending on drop-off locations. They clarified that the regular Grab cars and taxis with surge charges anyone can book even at NAIA will remain available and will not be affected. MIA said this service under the Airport to Anywhere or the ATA program can be booked via the Grab mobile application in anticipation of the passenger surge this holiday season. The MIA management is expecting an increase of 13 to 15% in the passenger volume during the holiday rush, or from December 15 to early January of next year.
The Department of Social Welfare and Development, or DSWD, in the Davao region, or DSWD 11, has launched on Wednesday, December 14, the Listahanan database that identifies for households to be used by government agencies and organizations that deliver social protection programs and services. In the database, also known as the National Household Targeting System for Poverty Reduction, or NHTSPR, there are 332,300 households identified as poor in the region. According to Karine Maris Ferrer, the DSWD-11 Regional Field Coordinator for NHTSPR, the Listahanan database is an information management system made available to national government agencies and other social protection stakeholders as a basis for identifying potential beneficiaries of their social protection programs and services. Based on their assessment, there are 47,387 poor households identified in Davao City. 69,000 are in Davao de Oro, 58,641 in Davao del Norte, 40,322 in Davao del Sur, 45,489 in Davao Occidental, and 71,461 in Davao Oriental. DSWD-11 Director Vanessa Gokong mentioned that the Listahanan database would maximize the benefits of social protection programs and would also minimize the wastage of resources because only those identified would benefit from social protection programs. The database will also formulate a uniform set of criteria for identifying poor families in the country through scientific means.
The Department of Tourism and the Department of Migrant Workers have launched the Incentivize promotional campaign Bisita Be My Guest, or BBMG, that aims to promote the country's tourism through Filipinos abroad. Bernadette Tinoy will tell us why.
The Department of Migrant Workers, or DMW, and Department of Tourism signed a Memorandum of Understanding that aims to strengthen and increase the tourist arrivals in the country. This will be achieved with the help of overseas Filipino workers, or OFWs, and Filipinos abroad who will serve as tourism ambassadors. The two agencies will grant incentives for those overseas Filipinos who will invite foreigners to visit the country.
In collaboration with the Department of Migrant Workers, we will be incentivizing overseas Filipinos who will bring family and friends to the Philippines.
Those incentives includes raffle tickets and chance to win special prizes. The participants who will register will also have the chance to avail discounts and special rates using the Bisita Be My Guest travel passport and privilege card. According to Department of Migrant Workers Secretary Susan Ople, tons of OFW in the world have the initiation in promoting the country to foreigners, which urged them to launching the campaign.
All of them are so eager to help our country and to help our president succeed. Our OFWs are saying, ano maitutulong namin? Paano kami makatulong? And so this program gives them a vehicle to do just that.
Meanwhile, Secretary Maria Cristina Garcia Frasco of Department of Tourism is very optimistic for Filipinos abroad to promote the country. This will also strengthen the country's economy to recover from the series of lockdowns imposed because of the pandemic.
Prior to us assuming the position in June 30, the projections of the Department of Tourism were that we would have arrivals pegged at 1.7 million only by the end of this year. And because of the changes that have been instituted, as well as the direction of our president to prioritize tourism, we've seen that we now have visitor arrivals of close to 2.4 million.
Frasco also added that the agency has been aiming to improve the country as the entire product of tourism.
We focus not only on promoting our country, but also on improving the entire product that is the Philippines.
The Republic Act 9593 or the Tourism Act of 2009 that mandates the DOT in creating favorable image of the country within the international community. Bernadette Tino, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The United States is planning to provide top-of-the-line air defense missiles to Ukraine to support them amid war against Russia. Annie Mancilia will give us the details live. Good evening, Annie.
Jonah, the Biden administration is close to finalizing a plan that will send their most advanced Patriot missile defense systems to Ukraine. The U.S. and the West have previously sent smaller defense systems, including the NASAMS and IRSTs, but the Patriots will allow Ukraine to intercept missiles and to prevent Russia from gaining airspace in the front lines. Ukraine's request for the Patriots have been placed months ago, but the U.S. ignored the request, saying that it would be difficult to transport and operate compared to the smaller defense systems. However, the requests were reappealed and was suddenly changed after concerns that Russia and Iran had pledged to a partnership, and Iran might plan to supply their own ballistic missiles to Russia. Russia have acknowledged the request and says that it would be another target for strikes. U.S. President Joe Biden expected to announce the amount of systems being sent later on this week.
And those are the reasons behind the news in other parts of the globe. I am Gianna Pravado, live from London, United Kingdom. Good evening.
Senator Joseph Victor, JV Ejercito, on Thursday, December 15, called on the government to beef up the defense forces and military equipment of the country in the West Philippine Sea, or the WPS, citing concern that China might annex Palawan because it appears that they are moving closer to the Philippine territory. The senator has also urged for the national government to procure advanced combat aircraft, missiles, submarines, and naval assets to force China to think twice before making any violation of the country's territorial integrity. The statement of Ejercito about the need of the country to improve its minimum defense posture to protect its territorial integrity came after a privileged speech of Senator Francis Tolentino in the Senate's last session regarding the possibility that China's military might be entering the country's exclusive economic zone, or EEZ. There is a need to increase funding for the Armed Forces of the Philippines, or AFP, and he urged his colleagues to also increase budget for its modernization program in succeeding years to boost the country's defense against external threats, including the actions of China. According to Ejercito, the country's territorial integrity is priceless and should be defended at all costs, even though the national government has many priorities to consider.
Our kasambahay, as the world faces these trying times amid the pandemic caused by coronavirus, we are inviting everyone to join the global prayer for humanity.
Good day. I'm Brother Eli Soriano of the members of the Church of God International. I want to invite you to join us in a minute of prayer every day to pray for humanity and the whole world as we go through these perilous times. While safety measures like washing of hands and strengthening of our immune systems may help us through this horrible predicament, there is still no precaution or cure more powerful than God's mighty intervention. And we need His intervention now more than ever. It doesn't matter what religion you are in or what denomination you belong. This is an invitation for all the people around the world who cares for the future of their family, friends, loved ones, and humanity as a whole. Everybody is welcome to pray with us. For more details, you can check out the description box below. Thank you very much, and I hope to hear from you soon. May God bless you.
Before we close, we will leave you with a word, giving glory to God. From the book of Galatians, chapter 5, verse 14, it says, "For all the law is fulfilled in one word, even in this, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself." The reasons behind the news December 15, 2022. Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. I am Harley Delgado.
And because we need to know, we will always ask why. I am William Theo. We serve the people. We give glory to God.